Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ask a Librarian today. We're excited to be here and talking with you. Today we are talking about Overdrive and digital materials. I'm here with Carla Gordon.
Hi!
She's our Assistant Director of Library Operations.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some questions that people have submitted over the last couple days. We're going to go through them. And then also, if you have any questions, if you're here, I know you're here. Feel free to leave some questions in the comments and we'll get to them if we can. So, first of all, we have digital, everybody knows we have digital books. That's not a new thing.
Hopefully everybody knows.
Yes.
We try to tell people.
We talk a lot about Libby, and we talk a lot about Overdrive. So the first thing we're going to address is, what is the difference between Libby and Overdrive?
As far as the books that are available, it's exactly the same. The same collection is available on Libby as is on Overdrive. It's the same company. Their original app, Overdrive, was great, except for it was hard sometimes. So they came out, instead of replacing or updating their old app, they just came out with a brand new app and they called it Libby. So Libby is just more user-friendly. It's just a little bit easier. And I've heard some libraries don't agree with that, but I just 100% agree with that. You have to log in a lot fewer times. You can manage several accounts at the same time. The reader is, I think, it's just all more intuitive. It just works better. So the difference is just the app. It's the same. So when you go to the Overdrive website, you're managing the same collection. You can check things out through the Overdrive website, and then they'll show up in your Libby app. And that's kind of how that works.
I think it's way more user-friendly. I used to think, because I work at a library, I'm not a librarian, but I work at a library, and I think if a master's degree holding person who sometimes it feels that way, works at a library, can't find this intuitive, can't figure this out, something's got to change.
Overdrive is a little bit hard. One thing that you can only do on the Overdrive app that you can't do on the Libby app that people might not be aware, there are streaming movies through Overdrive. There's not a ton. We don't buy a whole bunch, but they are there and they're available, and you can stream those through the Overdrive app and not through the Libby app. The Libby app is mostly just created as a reader and listener for audiobooks and ebooks. So that's kind of one difference as well, but same books, same everything. If you want to jump back and forth between the two, you can totally do that. We like Libby the best, though.
We do like Libby. Something worth mentioning, too, is that we have our own library app, the Provo City Library app.
We do.
That if you really want to only have one app, you can access all of the digital content through that app as well. I don't know about streaming movies.
I don't think it works for the movies, but it has a reader
a reader and an audiobook. If you want to search the catalog, put it on hold, go back, you can do it through the Provo City Library app.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You can place things on hold and check things out through our catalog that are available on Libby. I do recommend people just use the Libby app just because it's kind of less things communicate. There's there's fewer moving pieces when you just go straight to the Libby app. You kind of run into fewer issues, but it's all connected if you can, and usually it works. 90% of the time it's fine.
Okay, so here's our next question. How could I request that the library purchase an audiobook or an ebook?
Yeah, if there's specific things that you're looking for, you can definitely request that they be purchased. The best way to do that is to go to the Overdrive website. So it isn't available on the app. You have to go to the website, go to Overdrive, search for what you're looking for. If it's not there, there is two places. It'll either say, we can't find what you're looking for. It'll say request book not owned by the library. There's a little link that will be in the big part of the page. Or over on the left side, there is a link that says recommend to library. And either of those links, you click on them and they'll give you titles that are available for purchase for the library that they don't own. And you can place a request. And they do limit the requests. I think it's 5. You can request 5 things.
At once?
At once. Day? At once. You can have 5 things requested at a given time. And then when we buy it, it will go on hold for you, kind of like it would for the book that we would buy. Those requests actually go to the state library, and the state library buys those. So that's kind of another thing that people don't often know about Overdrive. It says Utah's online library, and that's because it is a statewide collection, and a bunch of libraries kind of, and then so we try to pool our resources and buy one copy, and then everybody can use it. And then our library is part of a program that lets us buy additional stuff that's just for our library. So when you're wanting a book, it's better to request it from the state library because they have more patrons and they buy more things. Mm-hmm. We're usually buying additional copies of really popular things so that those things are available to our patrons faster than if they were just relying on the state collection. Yeah. If that makes sense. So the great thing is you can make requests. If you do go in and you can't find it there, you hit the make a request or recommend a purchase, and you still can't see it there, that is because the publisher hasn't released it to us to purchase. And that actually happens quite a bit. Local, like Deseret Brook, local publishers. Yeah, if that makes sense. So they don't release. You can make requests if you do. So we can't buy any audiobook that is published by Deseret Book, but they do give us ebooks. So there's kind of some publishers have decided whether or not they're going to allow libraries to get their stuff. And so we run into that kind of limitation as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that's one thing that a lot of people, I didn't realize that until I started working at a library, that especially for electronic books and audiobooks and things like that, there are just different publishing restrictions for libraries than for normal consumers. A lot of things cost a lot more.
They cost a lot more. So if you go to Amazon, you want to buy something on Amazon for your Kindle reader, or so you'll have to spend, it's usually like $10 to $15, I think is probably mid-range for a bestseller or something. We will probably be paying between $30 and $80 for a copy. And then there's restrictions on that as well, as in like I'll pay $56 for something and I get to have my patrons check it out for 24 months and then I lose it. So we're really careful what we buy, because if I buy something and it's just for you, I've just spent $50-ish for one person to read a book if nobody in 2 years is going to read it. And so we're really careful to try to make sure that we're buying things that are newer and that are popular. And we'll sometimes look at our books and see how popular is it in print? Is it worth buying? It's an ebook. Some of those limitations make us sad. Yeah. Because we want to buy everything and make everything available, but when it costs so much, or I'll buy something for $36 and I get to check it out 26 to 52 times and then I lose it. And so it's hard to buy everything when your budget is limited that way, because we don't spend that much. I mean, we get discounts on our print books, but we do not get a discount on ebooks or audiobooks.
No, it is the opposite.
No, and there's some that are like $120 for an audiobook. Mm-hmm. And it hurts every time I buy those. But I still buy them sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we want them.
Yeah. It's just a balancing act trying to figure out how to serve everyone,
mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our last question that was submitted in advance is, what are your tips for getting the most out of Libby?
Well, I do have some insider tips.
She has so many.
I have so many. I'm going to share some of them. First tip is you can put multiple cards on the Libby app. So if you have, like, some people really worry.
Like cheating.
It does feel like cheating, but if you have children with, like, they're like, I don't want my kids checking ebooks out because they use up my 9 checkout titles. And that's a legitimate thing. But if your child has a card as well, you can add a card to your Libby device, and you'll have 2 cards, and then you'll have 18 checkouts. So it you can manage multiple cards. My 2-year-old reads a lot of adult books. I have my daughter's card on my card, and she sometimes helps me out to get the things that I want.
In her 1,000 books before kindergarten, how many of them are, adult nonfiction?
So maybe there's a bunch of World War II stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so that does kind of help you let the whole family have access to the collection and not have a parent like trying to like, I need these holds. You can't. Anyway, So that's one tip that I hope people are aware of. Another tip is that a lot of times new titles, and this is the publishing world in general, titles are released on Tuesdays. So the state library purchases usually on a Tuesday. So I buy later in the week, but I'm usually buying multiple copies. So new titles usually show up again on Tuesdays. So I, on Tuesday evening, as I'm going to bed, get on my Libby app and do a search for anything added to our collection in the last 7 days. And then the list comes up of what's brand new, and then I can get on the hold list before it gets crazy. So that's one thing. If you're looking for something, first of all, request it because you'll be put on hold for it, and that's a legitimate thing to do. Also, just looking on Tuesdays to see, what's new, and then you can place a hold, and you hopefully won't have to wait an eternity.
6 months.
6 months.
Not that I've waited 6 months for a book in my life.
You do have to sometimes wait 6 months, but I do want to point out also that the estimates that you're given when you check out, when you put a book on hold, they don't take into account the copies that our individual library owns that you can check out. So it's kind of saying, well, the state's collection, you'll have to wait this long. But we try to keep a 6-to-1 ratio, which is about a 3-month wait for people. So we try to buy anything that people have six holds on something. We try to buy a copy. And if there's, anyway, so usually it's less than what it says. Just
that has been my experience.
Yeah, just don't get too overwhelmed, and especially if it's something brand new, like if it's something super popular, we're just going to be buying more copies, and it won't last as long. You'll get it sooner than you think.
And my favorite new feature is the holds redelivery thing.
And that's good for everyone. And hopefully you got notified of that, and you might have seen the difference. It's kind of annoying because you have to go in and say, do I want this or do I not want this? I went out of town for a few days and I forgot to check it all. But they will put you on hold again once if you miss your hold. So the hold comes in for you. You need to go in and say, do I want it now or do I want it later? And you can say later because you've already got 2 books that you're reading. You know you won't finish them in the 3-week checkout. Say, give this back to me in 14 days. And then when it becomes available after that 14 days, it's delivered to you. And if you forget to check your phone and that hold comes in for you, they will put you back on the list once so that you don't lose your place. It'll just say, you're obviously not paying attention right now. We'll give it to someone else, and then you can pick it up.
I'll come back in a week.
And the good thing about that is that it is keeping hold lists going faster. We had expected a big drop in our circulation statistics when that happened, but it just so happened that it was at the moment when we shut down the library as well. So checkouts are actually staying really stable, though a lot of people are. I can see like how many holds are suspended on an item, and I can see there's lots of people using that. So you'll get it faster than you think. Don't let the hold estimation make you cry.
No.
It's a hopeful thing.
I just wish we could have more things. Though they did up the limit of things you could have on hold, too.
They did.
So you can have 9?
I think it's 9 holds and 7 checkouts, or vice versa. Is it 11?
I think it's 9 holds and 15 checkouts.
Oh, is it? Well, anyways, they did up it.
Cool.
I never run into the checkout limit. I run into the hold limit. I can't read 15 things in 3 weeks.
No.
I can almost read 15 things in 3 weeks.
If your daughter read more like a typical
2-year-old,
if she stopped reading all those World War II history books and started reading picture books, you would check out.
That's true.
I don't love reading picture books on the
It's hard.
electronically.
It's hard.
Okay, let's see. I don't think that we have had.
We do.
We have some questions.
Milagros Perry asks, is the library open right now?
We are not open right now. We are closed to the public right now. We are offering curbside delivery, or curbside pickup. So if you place a hold on our print collection, we will pull that. And once you get a notification that you have holds available, you can schedule an appointment to come and pick up your stuff, and we'll bring it out to your car. So we are moving that direction with the governor saying that the city's moving to yellow. I anticipate that we will open in the next little bit, but we are still trying to get things safe for everyone. And policies in place to make sure everyone can stay healthy. So we're moving towards that way, but we are not open to the public at the moment, and we don't know when that will be.
Yeah. We will make a big splashy announcement.
We will let you know. We hope it's we hope it's soon because we miss everyone so much, but it's also kind of a little scary because it's such a public building. So keeping everyone safe is a big concern as well.
Yes, yes. Okay, any other questions?
Adam Merkley asked, back to Libby,
Mhm.
asking about the hold, does the book need to go to the next person? He's just wanting a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, so on the holds, so if you say you don't want it for another 2 weeks, then it does go to the next person on the list, but you stay at the top of the hold queue. So when the next copy is returned, you are the next person to receive it after your suspension date is over.
Right, so like if I had one that
Does that
came
make-
in today and I said, nope, I'm in the middle of 2 books, because I'm always in the middle of 2 books.
That's true.
I'm in the middle of 2 books. I don't want it until next Friday. So next Friday, that doesn't mean that next Friday it'll say it's available for you. It'll go to the next person, and then after next Friday, the next time a title comes available. So within a couple weeks, or it's
Yeah.
usually just a couple days
Mhm.
from that time, the next copy that's available, it'll come to me.
And you can actually do that same hold suspension with print copies,
In our
with the library
catalog.
catalog. If you
Yeah.
ever, you put something on hold, but you're going on vacation for 3 weeks, so you don't want it to come in while you're gone, you can do that same kind of thing. So it's just a hold suspension. You keep your place in line, and it just goes to the next person. And it just helps, again, move through that hold queue faster because people get it while you're not interested in getting it, but you get it as soon as you are available. As soon as it's available and you're available, it's this lovely meeting of timelines.
So great.
Yeah, hopefully that clarifies that a little bit.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Milagro says, is there going to be late fees for the books that I checked out before the library was closed?
No, we are not accruing any late fees until it'll be at least a month after we open before we start giving people fines for things. Our book drops are open right now, so you can return things to our book drops between 10 and 4 Monday through Friday and 10 and 1 on Saturday. So the hours that we are open and can empty the book drop, they are open and you can drop your stuff off. You don't have to, but we are welcoming you to return your things if you don't want them anymore.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yay.
Well, this has been fun.
It's been really fun.
We'll come back in a week, maybe with this same librarian, maybe a different librarian.
We'll see.
If you have ideas for topics you would like us to cover, feel free to put those in the comments. And yeah, we will see you next week.